So this panel is where it all comes together, and we talk about the role that Washington can play to bottle up that enthusiasm in order to overcome those barriers. We have an extraordinary group of panelists here, starting with a man who certainly needs no introduction, Tom Friedman, a world-renowned author, foreign affairs columnist for the New York Times, author, of course, of The World is Flat, and he told me moments ago, author of the forthcoming book, which his people here know about. I, for one, just heard the title, which is Hot, Flat, and Crowded: Why We Need a Green Revolution and How It Can Renew America. In bookstores in September, Tom? Is that in bookstores in September? We are also honored to have Jay Inslee, Congressman Jay Inslee, who you have already heard from, author of Apollo's Fire and a leader on this issue in the U.S. Congress. We have Andy Karsner, Assistant Secretary of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy at the Department of Energy, who has been an extraordinary leader on this topic over the course of the past several years. We have John Podesta, President of the Center for American Progress, who has built an extraordinary institution working on these issues among many others, and who, of course, served as Chief of Staff for President Clinton, among many other roles in this town. We have Sue Tierney, Managing Principal of Analysis Group, Inc., who has a distinguished career in federal government, in state government, and in business. And we have John Wellinghoff, a commissioner of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, who has been a leader in this country and around the world on vehicle-to-grid applications and other issues. We're going to start this panel with a short video, and after that we will go right to the panel. Thank you very much.
I think it's a leadership issue, clear and simple. And this situation we're in today.
The issue I got briefed up a little bit on the discussions yesterday. Clearly, the big challenge we have around electric vehicles is to get down the cost volume curve as quickly as possible and make these truly scalable. So my question to the panel is this: to begin with, how soon do you think we could get these cars made in China? We don't want them made in China? Oh, sorry. Andy, let me start with you. Underlying my question is a question: is there not just a technology issue here, but a strategic manufacturing question? Is this going to be a strategic industry? And as you've said to me, climate knows no boundaries. So why should the manufacturing of electric cars know boundaries, or should it?
Well, so I think, Tom, you framed it exactly right. If the twin major issues that have magnitude and imperative to act are climate change and energy security, the truth is, in this case, there's a tension between those two issues. And we've got to manage that tension, and you manage that tension through managing the diplomatic relationship with strategic partners globally. It wouldn't matter if we went to zero emissions in this country tomorrow and then had unabated growth in the amount of diffusion of vehicle technologies and business as usual in China for the next 10 years or 15 years. It would not be consequential to reducing our greenhouse gases in a manner that's relevant to the problem. So you need China to scale this and other technologies, getting in front of coal with carbon sequestration, et cetera. We need to have relative mechanisms of tech transfer and international collaboration. I penned an agreement with the Vice Minister on this, and we're continuing that dialogue next week with the Strategic Economic Dialogue. The other tension is that we have to retain technology advantage for our own energy security interest, and of course that is something that we have yet to focus on with the kind of poignancy that we did when we focused on integrated circuits, computer chips, retaining a manufacturing base here for something that we viewed as strategic. So even as Taiwan and Japan and Korea and others moved into the IT sector, the United States has been able to maintain a lead and agility in technology proliferation. I view the battery industry and storage for energy in general very much the same way. We have got to say that markets will ultimately perform, but markets don't make national strategy. And here we need a national strategy that incorporates a manufacturing base domestically for high technology energy storage.
Sue, let me ask you this, just to pick up on Andy's point, because unlike the chip industry, we had the lead, and it was really about retaining it. I'm not sure we have the lead in this technology. So we first need a strategy for asserting leadership and then retaining it. How do you see this?
It's a great question. This is an opportunity for the United States to lead on manufacturing jobs, for technology. Jay talked about the importance of our intellectual resource. We have to deploy that, but we can't get there without leadership. The reason I put it that way is we can't decide whether we're the chicken and the egg in this problem, and I think we have to choose whether we are going to respond to the public and its desires for low energy prices, continued low energy prices, or lead by saying energy prices are high, they're here to stay. Jay, you did say that. I think you said that in a sense. We have to decarbonize the energy sector. We have to get off depending upon oil in the transportation sector. This is a major, major thing for leadership that we have to grab and lead.
John, let me ask you this from a labor standpoint. Should we look at electric cars the way we look at Walmart or the way we look at Intel? That is it a Walmart issue? Let's get the cheapest car to the most Americans as quickly as possible and make them wherever that's necessary. Or is it an Intel issue, as Andy raised, a strategic issue in which we're going to have to retain this technology and have a strategy for that? How do you
Well, I
see
think
it?
it's a little bit of both. Look, there are a lot of cars made in North America still, and there's a reason for that, which is that we still have high levels of productivity in this country to manufacture, technology of that sort. I think that Andy raised the right issue, though, that the battery technology is largely, at this point, in the current vehicles, is made in Japan, Korea, other places. I think there's some promising aspects to the innovation in the United States that could change that dynamic. But I think that we have to look at what are our kind of core national strengths, and innovation, the ability to have open capital markets, the ability to have dynamic business enterprise are all strong aspects of the United States market. And so I think that there's a very promising future for these advanced vehicles being actually not just invented in the United States, but manufactured here as well. If you look on, that's on the one hand. You look on the other hand, we kind of see because of lack of policy, we've largely, if you look at the photovoltaic industry, we had, I think, about 45% of the market 10 years ago. We're now down under 10. That's been picked up by the Europeans and Japan because they, I think, invested in their own home markets and the production of, and you had much more development in those home markets. And I think if we get the policy right, we can see the manufacturing follow.